Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee. It is I, Hope, and Mugsley actually. So here's Mugsley. He has been named officially. But welcome back to the channel. And this particular episode may be a little bit longer than most of my episodes. A lot of my episodes run about 10 minutes or so. But I have been watching a couple of different YouTubers who are some of my favorite YouTubers because they react on body positivity. They react on Fat-tok. They react on individuals who are more aligned with people who promote and support health at every size. One of them is Cynical Dude, and one's name is David. And anyway, I'll try to link them down below. But anyway, they are super cool guys, and I love listening to them because they are sarcastic and funny and awesome and hilarious, and they help get me through the day when I am just need some background noise when I am doing other things. So one of the things is a lot of the people on these body positive sort of platforms, they promote that staying in a body of size, which means, in whatever size that they are in, they feel that they have the right to be that size. And of course, they can be whatever size they choose to be. However, they also feel as though the world should accommodate to them being that size, and they feel as though they are being discriminated against when the world does not accommodate to them in the way that, say, maybe a library doesn't put in a wheelchair ramp for those who can't use their legs. This is not the same thing. A person who is in a larger body is not the same as a person who has completely lost the ability to use their legs or has lost functionality in their limbs. And I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about my own health journey, because one of the things I also keep hearing people say is that long-term weight loss is impossible, or long-term weight loss is not sustainable. And I'm here to prove and tell you and show you that it is 100% possible if you do what you need to do correctly. In about 2017, I was somewhere between, I would say, 190 and 200 pounds. At my highest weight, I was probably around, I would say, 210 to 215. I probably wasn't weighing myself as much as I should have been, but I know I was somewhere in the size 16 plus. I was never a small person. I was always the biggest in my immediate family. My brother was pretty small. He was athletic. My mom was pretty small and is still pretty small, though she's curvy. She's about 5 foot tall, but she is curvy and has the cutest little figure. My dad is built like a football player, like a linebacker. But on my dad's side of the family, most of the females on the side of the family were fairly overweight and still to this day carry some extra weight. We are all from Louisiana, and I am not saying that it is an excuse. I am not saying it is a reason. I am stating a fact that my family mainly lives in Louisiana, and that this is who they are. I love them. I dearly love them. I love our cooking. I love our food, and I love the butter, and oh my gosh, all of it. I love it all. Bread is my biggest weakness. I will eat an entire French loaf of bread by myself, sitting on the couch. I don't even need butter. Just hand me the loaf. But anyway, I realized in 2017, after going to a training that I needed to be a part of, that I was not able to do things that people my age were able to do easily. And that was on me. that I was not able to walk the distance that these people were doing, that I was not able to jog, that my physical fitness level did not put me in a category where I felt comfortable doing certain things. And that was not on anybody else but me to come to terms with. They did not need to accommodate me. They did not need to make special allowances for me. The only special allowance I needed at the time was for my migraines, because my migraines are a completely different medical thing that has to be controlled with medication. So, I have, since 2017, been able to maintain approximately a weight loss of about 75 pounds. So I'm saying going from about 215 down to where I am now of about 135. And that is sustained loss. And it is 2024, so that is 7 years. And I went to that training in approximately over the course of January, February of 2017, and it is now beginning of February of 2024. Now, I did not lose all of this weight in 2017, but that's when I started my progress. That's when I started making the effort to take the accountability onto myself and to make myself accountable for me. And I think that's what the people in this body positive community are not doing. They are body positive. Yes, you can love your body. And in fact, while I was at those weights, I did not even realize how heavy I was. And in fact, loved myself, loved my weight, was happily, or thought I was happily married to a really wonderful guy. And I will still tell you to this day that I think he is an absolutely wonderful guy. We just got to the point that we became more of roommates rather than partners. And I felt that we both deserved more. But again, wonderful guy. And I thought that I was fine. I thought everything was great. I thought I was dressing cute. My confidence was happy and good and great, and you could not have told me any difference. Now, sure, I had moments where I probably was like, oh, yeah, I do wish I could lose a little weight. Yeah, I probably wish I could look like a person in a magazine, but otherwise, I think there comes a point where you're kind of like, oh, yeah, I could, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I could, nah, I'm good. But until you actually turn that page and you decide, you know what, this is not about how I look. This is about how I feel in my body. This is about being able to walk up several flights of stairs without stopping. This is about being able to walk around a track without hurting, my knees hurting, my feet hurting, without my back hurting when I'm waking up in the morning. All of these things, those were the things that I wanted to address with my journey. And I tried apps. Apps never worked for me. I tried programs. Programs never worked for me because I just don't stick to those sorts of things. I am very flighty when it comes to someone else telling me what to do. None of it ever really sticks because I am way too stubborn for that sort of thing. So what I did do is I figured out what I was willing to do for myself. And no one else could tell me what was going to work for me. I could have a million different people having eating plans for me. I could have notebooks and binders of eating plans and meal prep laid out for me. But the thing is I probably wasn't going to put it together. I probably wasn't going to go buy those groceries. It probably didn't sound really good to me. It probably didn't sound tasty or what have you. So I had to figure out what I wanted out of it. And I know I don't have any underlying conditions other than migraines. Health-wise, I had no underlying conditions. At the time, I didn't have high blood pressure, still don't. I don't have high cholesterol, probably maybe had borderline. Did not have high blood sugar, was not borderline diabetic in any way. to look at my blood panel and all that sort of stuff, because I had to get some of that done before a different thing. And I think it was because I was going to travel, and that was probably, I think, international travel. So I got some blood work done just to make sure I was healthy before I went. Everything looked really great. You would have been like, she's healthy for her size. Yep, I was. I didn't feel great, but but overall the paperwork looked absolutely fine. Other than my migraines, which I can take medication, my Topamax for my migraines. I prefer Cambia over Nurtec. I don't like Imitrex or Rizatriptan. None of those really, like, a lot of those make me feel weird. But anyway, I had to change the way I thought about food too. Because, like, I was doing it so mindlessly. I would be sitting at my desk just like having a drawer full of snacks, just eating it. Or I would bring a lunch bag or box or what have you, and I would just have a whole bunch of snacks that I would just graze on throughout the day. And then I'd get home and then I'd graze throughout the evening or what have you. Or I'd start the morning with the not so great breakfast, like, shake, which is pretty much like 100% sugar, and that's not great to start with, and it's probably not even really like good protein. But I also changed my level of activity. Yeah, I started moving more. I'll tell you, I don't like going to the gym. I don't like lifting weights. I don't like a whole bunch of those stuff. I don't like sitting on the floor and doing workouts on the ground. I don't like it. And I will avoid it when at all possible. So I did find that I enjoy the elliptical pretty good. I don't mind the treadmill. That I like resistance bands pretty good. Pretty good at squats. I like yoga, which even though it puts me on the ground, I still really enjoy it. And I like moving my body like dance. So those things, I just had to figure out what I was willing to do. And nobody else could tell me what I was willing to do. And I remember I had a horrible, horrible ex who I was going to the gym with him at the time. And he kept telling me, he's like, well, you have to do this and you have to do this. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. And he's like, well, no, you have to if you want to see results. And it's like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, well, you have to. And I was like, I don't have to. Like, you're wrong. And then I just stopped going to the gym with him because he made it not fun. And the thing is like, if you take the fun out of something for me, then I don't want to do it anymore because I am like a big kid. I want the fun to remain in whatever it is I'm doing. Heck, I've got Tony Chopper right here behind me. I've got cartoons and toys and fun stuff and all over my apartment because my life, I want to bring as much joy as I possibly can. So when it came to my journey, it needed to be fun. It needed to be enjoyable. I needed to love my life while I was doing it. And I love my life while I was doing it. I thought about my sleep. I thought about my hydration. I gave myself grace. I gave myself the space to feel my feelings. But you know what? I took my responsibility on myself. I took accountability on myself. And every time I hear someone say that the world owes them something, that the world or something needs to change to make space for them, I really have to question the level of narcissism it takes for you to feel that someone else has to change to make you feel better about yourself. And that's not okay. Because the world doesn't have to change because the world doesn't owe you anything. The world owes us nothing. The world does not owe us respect. The world does not owe us anything. And yet, a lot of these people speak as though they are entitled to certain things. They speak as though they are entitled to strangers, or they speak as though strangers should give them a level of respect they didn't earn. Um, and so they, like, if they go to the gym, they automatically assume people are looking down at them. I'll tell you, the couple times that I did go to a gym, when I was at my heavier weight, I don't think a single person looked at me. I don't think they did. Um, I don't think I'm narcissistic like that. I mean, I was there doing my thing. They're there doing their thing. I cannot tell, like, if I looked around, I can't tell you a single person that ever stuck in my mind at all. Unless a person was doing like a really weird workout. Like, have you ever seen those people on TikTok that are doing those absolutely insane, like almost dumb workouts that you're like, you're going to hurt yourself or someone else by doing that? And that's terrible. Like, if someone was doing that sort of workout, then okay, yeah, I might remember them. But the thing is, um, I can't I can't understand not taking your own accountability, because I accept that all the things that I did to myself were what I did to myself. My body was my responsibility. I do not and did not ever blame my parents. I did not grow up in a rich household. We were low middle class. I know for a very long time we were in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we did not move into an actual house until I was in maybe elementary school, like 6th grade. And even then, we were like still probably low middle class, and we worked to get by. Both my parents worked very hard, worked full time, and my brother and I went to school. I was the only one who went to college, and I had to put all of that on student loans because there was no money left over to put aside for me to go to college. I just had to do that on my own. But what I'm saying is, they always come up with these excuses. It's like, oh, well, you're in a place of privilege. I was not in a place of privilege. I did not and do not have a supportive partner. Even though I was married at the time, he did not join me on the journey towards finding what I needed to do to make myself a better version of me. And I still don't have that. I do not have a huge supportive network. If anything, I probably have a total of 3 or 4 people that if I picked up the phone or sent a text message would probably like respond, but nobody's going to answer the call right away if I'm like, hey, I need you. Most of them probably have their own lives that they're living, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, like, they talk about having all this privilege, and I think they're just trying to play the victim. They're trying to play the martyr, and they're not seeing the harm that they're doing to their own cause. Because the more and more they talk about how other people need to accept them for who they are, the more that they seem to degrade their own, I guess, their own efforts, because they just seem to be putting other people down and making other people seem as though we're doing something wrong when we're not. We are living our lives, and they're the ones who seem like they can't get past certain things. My goal is me. That is it. I want to love my food. If I want to eat cookie dough out of the freezer, I do. I eat my ice cream for dinner if I want to, but I will also just eat a can of green beans or lima beans or what have you. I do not, but some of my goals was I didn't want to wake up like feeling foggy anymore. I didn't want to wake up feeling lethargic. I didn't want my feet hurting or my legs feeling swollen or like that sort of thing. And then someone talked about, well, weight loss can increase your appetite. You have to understand, and I've gone through and gotten certified as a nutritionist because I wanted to understand. I wanted to physically and mentally understand what is happening in my body. And by doing that, I actually did research. I actually took courses to be certified in nutrition. And yes, your appetite can increase, but guess what? So does your willpower. It also increases when you are sticking to something that you are actually working towards. My appetite did increase, but only for short periods. And I would say that's because you've got some levels that are trying to balance out as you are working through some of your cravings. And that's okay. It's going to happen, but the thing is you don't give in to everything. That's just part of life. Like, you don't have to give in to everything. Just because I'm craving cookies does not mean I'm going to buy a bag of cookies. I love cookies. My first word was cookie. So please tell me that I'm not like a little fat girl inside my body, because I definitely am. But when you are in a body of size, when you are in a bigger size, you actually burn more calories naturally. So when you weigh less, you need to consume less. So you may feel as though like your appetite is bigger, but you're just used to eating more. And now you don't have to eat that much, and you have to learn what your new portion size is. Sometimes people don't figure that out, and so they will continue to vacillate between a bigger size and a smaller size. Some people talk about plateauing. That does happen because there is such a thing as a set point body weight, but you can break through it, and I have done that as well. One of the ways you can break through a set point body weight, and I'm not going to give you the 100% specific way to do it, I'll just tell you a little bit about how I did it. I did it kind of gradually. I worked from about the 215 down to about 175, and I let myself pause there for about a month or two. And I didn't really focus too much on trying to lose weight. I focused on maintaining that weight. I tried to figure out what my new calorie intake would be at that weight. I figured out, am I sleeping well? What's my hydration level? And I tried to figure it out at that new weight of 175. Then after about a month or two, that's when I started to kind of continue my journey downward. And I think I went down to about 165, and I paused again. And I actually stayed about 165 for a couple more months. And that's how you can break through those plateaus. Now, some people are able to drop all the weight all at once, and that is fine. If their body wants to do it that way, kudos to them. Hey, A+ for that. And by no means does one size fit all. Like I said, I've tried every one of them in the book, and I can't figure out one of those that works for me. I can only tell you what works for me, and this is the way it worked for me. The way it has worked for me is by me taking my time coming down this ladder and coming down to where I am now of about 135. I let myself pause throughout my journey. I let myself figure out where I needed to be calorie-wise in order to maintain that new weight, and in order to feel good, to have great energy, to sleep well, hydration levels, skin looks good, glowing. I wake up feeling great. All that sort of fun stuff. So I'm just saying, I don't intuitively eat because I think that would have me grazing all day. When I was intuitively eating, I think I was just munching throughout the day like a little cow, just going back to the fridge for cheese and whatever else was in there. But I also, and this is something that that has worked for me, I don't buy groceries in abundance. I buy groceries for the week. And that way I eat what I have. I don't DoorDash. I don't fast food. And if I'm lazy, then that's on me. because I have stuff here at this apartment that I can make very quickly. I'm talking 5 minutes. And if I can't get it, if I can't eat it in 5 minutes, like if I am willing to wait for DoorDash, which is going to take an hour, or if I'm willing to go to McDonald's and spend $15, then I have done myself a disservice, because the food that I have here in this apartment is not only going to be less calories, it's going to save me money, and it's going to save me time, because it's usually going to take me 5 to 7 minutes to get it whipped up. And I don't even have to change out of my clothes. I don't have to walk outside. I don't have to start my car. I don't have to leave my pups for even 5 minutes. I can just stay here in my comfy apartment. So I'm just saying, these are things you can think about. I wish you all the best on whatever journey of happiness you are working towards. I think wellness is definitely a spectrum of so many different avenues. For me, I have factored in all of those avenues when it comes to what I was looking for as I wanted to move from that up to 15 down to where I am now. But I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to put my statement out there about these people who don't seem to want to take their accountability and who only want to talk about the way the world should accommodate them, because there's no point in arguing that the world should accommodate you when you're not accommodating the world. You have done nothing to accommodate the world, so I don't see why it should be done vice versa. It has to be a give and take. I took myself on a journey, not only of self-discovery, of trying to figure out who I am and what I wanted out of life, but I wanted to figure out the best version of myself, mentally, figuratively, physically. I wanted to figure out like career-wise what I wanted. I wanted to figure out socially what I wanted. Locationally, I wanted to know where I wanted to live. I'm still trying to figure that out, but right now where I'm at, I really enjoy it and I'm having a great time with it. But there's so many different factors, and the thing is you can't stay where you are and think you're growing, and you can't continue to spout nonsense if you are not listening to other people. You need to use facts, you need to use true research, and you need to actually quote your sources. All of the things that I have talked about have really been my experience only. None of this is medical in any way other than my journey and my opinions. And I am pointing no one out in any way. I am just simply stating that I think we can do better as a society when it comes to not asking the world to do us a favor when we have done nothing to earn it. And with all of that being said, I hope you will go out there and make good choices in your life. I hope you will go out there with a kind and loving heart. And I hope I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one.